Hey guys, Steve here with Rugspin Graphics. Today we're going to be working on our Protoform AMR 12 body. Been painting for more years than I want to count, probably 20, 30 years now. Done everything from lacquer to acrylics, and want to give you guys just a little thing on how I do it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you, but this is what's worked for me for a very long time. I'll be using Fast Color and of course Proline and Cretex paints. They're actually all made by Cretex. So Cretex being the actual manufacturer of the paints. Found that Proline, a lot of their paints flow really well. I've been really pleased with the white. White's always been a really difficult color. It's very thick. Doesn't like to shoot through the airbrushes too well. So anyhow, one of the most important things is cleaning the body, getting it clean and ready to go. After you've been trimming on it and touching it inside, your hands leave a lot of oily residue. Most guys you'll see will use like Dawn dish soap and water and everything. The problem I have with that is it seems like the newer batch of lexan and or mold release, I'm not really sure what it is that's causing it. Really playing havoc sometimes with the painting process. You'll get weird streaking, bubbling, all sorts of stuff that happens in the paint and or lifting. Of course, that's the other thing. I know some paints don't like to adhere as well, so don't want to have any of that happen. So what I've used for ever and ever is good old denatured alcohol. Unfortunately, if you live in California, can't get it anymore. You can order it. We've ordered off of Amazon and been able to have it delivered. I actually go over to Arizona, pick it up over there. Just walk into Home Depot and buy it, just like you used to be able to, but don't you dare try and do that here in California. So not available here in California, probably the rest of the United States. So anyhow, we're going to take our denatured alcohol here and just get some dampness here on our rag and give the body a really good wipe down. So this is going to get all those all that oily residue and mold release and everything else off the body. You just want to make sure you go over everything really, really well. Make sure you get up in those tight spots there too. If you draw on the body, like right here, I've got some circles marked and everything, and you get those wrong, denatured alcohol is great for wiping it off and starting over again as you're designing the body. So, all right. So moving on. All right. Next step of the process here is going to be masking the body. Now, bodies have gotten lighter and lighter over the years. They're getting down to 030, 025 lexan and stuff. And I found with my own bodies and ones that I painted for other people, if you go cutting on those with the X-Acto knife, it's a very good chance that that body's going to split on you. So many years ago, I purchased a vinyl cutter to cut my own masks. So just like you get the window masks, from Protoform, Proline, whatever, J Concepts, whatever, I can actually cut out my own design and everything. Unfortunately, my vinyl cutter has died on me. I need to get a new one, so we're going to be doing this by hand today. You'll see I've already got some masks here cut out. So this is one of those self-healing mats. You can pick those up even at Walmart. Walmart has them, and they're great to work on. So what I end up doing is I print out my design on a sheet of paper, lay down some blue tape, and lay that paper over and cut it out. That way I'm not actually doing any cutting on the body. Keeps the bodies from splitting and cracking. So here we'll show in a little time lapse just how that goes. Alright guys, now that we got all of our masks cut out and everything, now we're going to apply them to the body here. So hang tight, and you'll see how that all happens. Alright guys, now we got our body fully masked and everything. Remember, we have our cloth and denatured alcohol. We're just going to take a little bit more denatured alcohol because we've been putting fingerprints all over the inside of that puppy. So I'm going to make sure that we get all those off. The other thing too is to make sure that you go around with your fingernail and burnish the edges of all the masks. So anywhere there's a layover or a of tape and or a ridge in the body, you want to make sure you take your fingernail over that and just give it a good swipe across, press down. That way you don't get any paint bleed on it as you're doing it. So we'll just continue to clean this up here, and then we'll get to our next step. Couple lifts right here, so we're just going to take our fingernail across it. Once again, around the window edges, right here where the two intersect, you want to get both sides of that, just to make sure, right along the window lines, just to make sure you don't get any bleed underneath. It just really helps seal that down to the body. Make sure all of our edges are good and down. Be less cleanup later down the road for you. I know a lot of guys like to use liquid mask. Once again, if you're going to use liquid mask, you're cutting on the body, and I just don't think that's a good way to go, especially with these really lightweight 12 scale bodies. And this is not the Pro Light. This is just the lightweight body. Unfortunately, Protoform no longer makes the regular weight body, as everybody cried that they wanted lighter bodies. Now they destroy bodies constantly. The regular weight body at least would last you, a good amount of time, but everybody wants to go faster and faster, which means lighter and lighter. So this is where we're at. And once again, if you go cutting on that body, you're going to get splits in it. Every time they crash, that body's going to crack and split. So. Alright, I think we're ready for the next step, which is going to be moving on to paint here. Alright guys, next step in the painting process, getting your paint out. Want to make sure that you shake it really, really, really well. I pretty much don't think you can shake it enough. If you don't want to shake your own bottles, Robart makes a little mini paint shaker. I've actually got one. I need to replace the switch on it. The switch went out recently, so I don't have that around to show you, but it's great. Set the bottle on it, a little rubber strap, and it just sits there and vibrates it really good. So anyways, you want to get your bottles really shaken up. Here in the shed, I don't have a sink or anything installed yet, so I'm kind of still working with, with some basic stuff. Harbor Freight and Tool sells these really great paint catchers for cleaning out your airbrush. Basically, it's got a little filter right here in the top of it. When you have your chemicals or water to clean out your airbrush, stick your airbrush in, pull back, spray, and it keeps the aerosols from going all over your shop and everything. And then afterwards, you can clean it out or just leave it nice and dirty like I have. One other thing I picked up from Harbor Freight, stupid enough, is this nice little multi-sprayer. And I just have basic good old water in it, and that's what I use to clean the airbrushes. I'll also use a little bit of Windex. You can also use a good old blue Windex for cutting the paint. If you need to thin out your paint a little bit, works really good. Don't try anything else but the blue Windex. So clear, all that does not work. So blue only. So anyways, we'll squirt a little bit in that cap just to make sure that we've got good spray going on. And then you release it right there. You can see it going down. And with that, we're going to be ready to paint. I use a combination of airbrushes. I've got a little bit of everything. I prefer the Iwatas. I've got both the Eclipse and the Revolutions. I also have tried trusty Pache dual action, and a few other things too. So, but the Iwatas they're just smooth. They're really easy to work with. You've got a combination of needle sizes to work with. The Revolution, fairly cheap, under $100. I do prefer the gravity feed cups over the suction feed. Used to use the suction feed because they had attachments for the bottles. You could basically screw the bottle right onto the bottom of the airbrushes. But with that, I just felt like I fought it a lot, and or the brush would clog, or I was wasting paint. So now I just do the gravity feeds, and they work best for me. So the first thing we're going to do is some really light coats of black all around all of our design here, to give it a little bit of a shadow effect. I like to outline my design in black. Sometimes I'll go a little heavy, sometimes light. It just depends on my mood. But that's what we're going to do next. So take a watch, and we'll see how she comes out. Alright guys, so we're midway through the process. Put a bunch of the blues down. We'll have, we got blue, purple, all sorts of different shades of blue in there, which will show up in the sunlight and everything. Now we're off to pull our mask off and see how that goes. One thing, after I pull the mask, I usually wipe down that area once again with denatured alcohol. If you've got really thin areas, you might want to use a cotton swab so you don't, hit it with the paper towel and everything. But usually wipe that down once again with denatured alcohol. It just helps with the residue from the tape being on there. Even if you're using masking material, it still leaves a little bit of residue on the body. We should be able to peel this, and we'll go to our next step, which will be our fluorescent colors. I use, my paint schemes are fluorescent yellow with a little bit of orange and everything. And I actually throw down all the fluorescent yellow first, a real light coat of fluorescent yellow, and then I'll do my outlines of orange where I want it. And I do that, I've just found out over the years, if I do the orange first, it tends to haze some of the other area that I just really want fluorescent yellow. So if I put the fluorescent yellow down first, then I can do my little thin areas of orange, and I don't have to worry about it hazing anywhere where I don't want it. So that'll be our next process. Body's been drying for a little bit of time. We'll go ahead and peel the mask off and get on to it. Alright guys, here we are, final product. Just a few little oversprays here and there, but some stickers will probably take care of that. But body is complete. We did this in less than 2 hours from start to finish. I know I've got some fast forwarding on there, but truthfully, less than 2 hours from start to finish. That's usually when I try and be able to do a body in. Anything more than that, it's kind of not worth my time. There's some beautiful paint jobs out there, and I know you guys spend a tremendous amount of time on it, but for me, it's just not worth my time and money in order to do it. So last thing to do here is to peel the windows, get the body fully trimmed out for the car, get our sponsor stickers on it, and she'll be ready to roll. So when all that's done, we'll give you a look, and there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, post your comments down below. Be happy to answer them, and we'll take it from there. Thanks.